on the stream.
Welcome. It is Algo Hour 65, September 17th. We got Ted and Luga and Joe, but also we have Walt Knows Money as our special guest. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here. I'm honored to be here.
I'm excited you're here.
Look, I'm at my girlfriend's house, and she right here cheerleading.
Oh, throw her! I love that.
You need a cheerleader.
I'm not gonna lie, my mom sometimes watches the show. She has no idea what we're talking about, but she'll be like, I watched part of your show today, honey. So, hi, Mom, if you're watching. I don't think she is today. But...
Shout out IRL's mom.
Yeah. And Walt's girlfriend.
Hey!
There we go. But does she have an Algorand wallet?
Ooh, she does.
Oh,
okay.
Wow.
Oh, man, I am impressed.
Yeah, she got a segment too.
I've been married 8 years and have not gotten my husband onboarded to blockchain yet. But one day, my friends, one day.
It's just like he shared a bank account, right? He, by proxy, has an Algorand wallet since you have an Algorand wallet, right?
It's really our Algorand wallet.
Exactly.
Oh. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. For sure. 100%.
That's the benefit of being married.
Yeah.
1 equals 2, 2 equals 1.
Exactly.
There you go. Or in Luga's case, 2 equals like what, 5?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't know how we did it. We did some multiplication.
Well, welcome to the show. We're excited to have you. I know you are no stranger to streaming. For anybody who doesn't know or is not already subscribed, Walt Knows Money. Can we call you Walt for short? Is that?
Yeah, that's my name. It's just, how the internet is. So that's fine.
I got you. Check out his handle is also at Walt Knows Money, and it's the same on YouTube. He made it really easy to find him. But check that out. He's going to tell us all about what he does with Block Cycle Labs a little bit later in the show. We got to put him through the ringer a little bit first and have some fun. But let's see. We got Shanae. Let's freaking go. I agree. Ted's here. Maureen's here. Perdoodles is here.
Okay.
Never have shared bank accounts. Worst idea. I don't know. That might be different in the UK. I don't know.
Ooh.
Sorry, LOL. Welcome everyone and their wives. Okay. And Michael
Amen.
Norris was here. And Michael was here early. Shout out to Michael. And he was talking earlier about being lazy with Algo Active before the show. I was talking with Luga going, I'm working on it. I'm shoveling dirt instead of chopping wood this week, but it's happening. So yeah, you can give us a great motivational pep talk later if you're.
Okay.
Hey, Beluga, fine.
I dig it. Ted, how does it feel to be back? Welcome back, sir. We've missed
Thank you.
you.
Yeah, it feels good. I've missed a lot of great sports stories, so I'm going to try and just focus on stuff that's happened last week, primarily just with football and the Premier League. Now that that's kind of getting going in full speed. But yeah, it's been good. We had a great UFC fight that was in the Sphere. It was pretty spherical.
Was it in an octagon?
Well, it's in an octagon that's in a sphere. The Vegas sphere. This is an actual thing. I'm not trying to make a joke.
And tell that sports do not make my news radar.
But no, it was a Mexican themed night. So they had all of these different graphics in relation to like the history of Mexico and all these different Mexican fighters. I thought it was really interesting and fun. Was definitely surprised by how over the top the graphics and everything were. They were like on the screen, and it was really interesting to see the screen. Like if you're familiar with like Super Smash Bros. Or like any of those other fighting where there's different levels, that's kind of how it was, where you had an octagon, and then in the background each fight would change to something different, which I thought was really fun and fascinating. I think they spent between either $20 or $30 million on the visuals just for the fight alone. It was a great fight. Sean O'Malley lost to Narum, I forget his last name, by decision. And I just got a report that Sean O'Malley is out for the next 6 to 9 months with a torn labrum.
feel like you just snuck a lot of extra sports in there.
You did, yeah.
Well, that the UFC wasn't on my. I forgot that it wasn't on my original sports stuff section.
You just got to line.
I
It wasn't.
see.
Sneak it in.
It's not on the script.
Yeah,
So.
I went to
Hello,
read a
chat.
message and it's okay. Perdoodles
You
is
also
right
just
there
do a
with
muscle
you,
up
Chuck
in
and
the background.
Arsenal.
Please, Ted.
Yeah, and Perdoodles, don't
Stick
worry.
your lane.
I do have a little segment on the North London Derby.
Oh, very cool. Okay. Well, we also have limericks, but we have our favorite dev. Our like I said, I liked the background better last week. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm happy to see you nonetheless. You're back, Joe. Coinbase quests are live if you are not in the U.S. or Canada, or the U.S. and somewhere else. But as long as you're not in the U.S., you can quest on Coinbase and learn all about Algorand, earn some free crypto. Are you going to tell us what else is happening in your dev world?
Yeah, I think today I remember this time to talk a little bit about the ARC69 deprecation that at this point it was a couple weeks ago, but I still think it's important to talk about. So I can go a little bit in depth on that and talk about what's going on there.
We'll let you do your thing. I feel like deprecation is just, it's a emotionally loaded word.
Yeah, it's a scary word.
A little bit. Just saying. Luke is scared of it. Yeah. Just kidding. He's not scared of anything. Not with that axe. All right, we'll get you in it. We'll get you over there.
All right, everyone. So, like I said, we're going to be talking about ARC69 and the potential deprecation of ARC69. This was something that Steph, our ARC manager, tweeted out on September 3rd. So this was a couple weeks ago, but because I was on vacation that week, didn't get to talk about it on the show. So I just want to clarify a couple of things. And I'll start right off the bat. It's not as scary as it sounds. So basically, to give some context, right, we all know that one of the great features of Algorand is we have these ASAs, or Algorand standard assets, and they work differently than other chains that use smart contracts for things like NFTs. So that means we have to come up with our own standards. We can't just copy what has been done in the Ethereum world. So as part of that, we have many different standards for how we define tokens, and in particular NFTs on Algorand. So the three main ones are ARC3, ARC19, and ARC69. And what Steph wanted to get a community vote on is whether we should start deprecating ARC69. So basically what deprecation means is that it will still be supported, right? Anything that currently uses ARC69 will still work, but it's not something that we're going to encourage new developers, new marketplaces, new NFT creators to use. So everything that currently exists that's ARC69 will still work as expected, but the idea of deprecation is that we encourage people to use alternatives to ARC69 rather than ARC69. So why do we want to do that? So the kind of base NFT standard is called ARC3, which is basically the most equivalent to like an ERC. 1155 is the standard, basically like run-of-the-mill NFT. And the main thing with ARC3 is that it's immutable, which is great for a lot of use cases. But in use cases when you might want to, customize your NFT, or it gets traits over time, or you can do quests to upgrade it, you'll want to change the image and maybe some metadata about it as well. And so what ARC69 and ARC19 allow you to do is to allow you to edit that image and edit the metadata, but they go about it in different ways. ARC69 uses the note field in transactions in order to update what the latest metadata is, what the latest image is. And ARC19 uses IPFS and a field on chain to point to that IPFS link. And essentially, the downsides of ARC69 is that it requires you to use an indexer, which is a really big database of everything that has happened on chain. And in order to read an ARC69 NFT, you have to not only just look at that NFT on chain, you have to look at every single transaction in the history of that NFT and figure out what the latest image that you should be displaying is, or what the latest metadata is. And so this is rather compute intensive and requires a lot of resources because the indexer is like expensive to run. It's really big. It takes up a lot of space. And so the idea is ARC19 is giving you all the same benefits as ARC69, but it does so in a bit more of a less technically complex way. That being said, we recognize that there are a lot more tools for ARC69 than there are for ARC19. So one of the things we've been talking about internally at the foundation and with others in the community is that when we deprecate ARC69, if we do, then we'll want to make sure that we have all the tools available for ARC19 so that transition can be smooth. So at the end of the day, we're not trying to take away any feature of the chain or negatively impact any projects. That definitely won't happen. All we're trying to do is to encourage new projects and new people building on the chain to use these more up-to-date standards and avoid standards that might have technical complexities that might not be immediately obvious. And that's kind of the case with ARC69. If you're a new project, even after ARC69 is deprecated, if it is, you can still use it. There's no rule saying you can't use it anymore. It's just that it's mostly about the encouragement and what we want people to use going forward. So that's really what we're getting at. And the idea is that someone can go look at the list of ARCs and see, oh, there's these two ARCs, ARC19 and ARC69 that say they can change the NFT. Which one should I use? By marking ARC69 deprecated, it'll make it a little bit more clear for people looking at things at a glance and not super involved in these discussions on Twitter. So that's the whole idea. I think a lot of the concern was over, these thoughts that people wouldn't be able to use it anymore, or that things would stop working. That's definitely not the case. Everything will work as it currently does. This is just about thinking about the future and how we want to push and shape the direction of Algorand going forward. So maybe instead of using the word deprecated, because that's a very very common term in the developer world, but obviously it has a bit of an emotional charge elsewhere. So maybe just say like not recommended or something is what we should go with. But yeah, that's kind of the backstory there. Like I said, nothing too much to worry about, and something I'm personally in favor of. But of course, we want to hear more community input before we make any final decisions on that. So that's the ARC69 deprecation story. Outside of that, I've already been talking for a bit and don't have too much updates. As IRL said, you can check out the quest on Coinbase, and then everything else that, consensus incentives, peer-to-peer, all that good stuff is still being worked on. Liquid auth, don't have any major updates this week, but in the coming weeks, I probably will. So stay tuned for that. And other than that, I'll hand it back to you, IRL.
Okay, so I'm not a developer. So yes, deprecated is a weird word.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's weird. But also, I feel like the non-developer drama a little bit was, so 69 came before 19,
Yeah.
right? And there's a little bit of emotional attachment because ARCs are requests for comments from the community, right? So a lot of these ARC standards are someone's babies, right?
Right.
So I would be interested because you sold me on it, heavier use of resources. Like, okay, so there wasn't a better option when ARC69 was made. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of curious. I want to ask Kraken what he thinks about this. But it sounds like a matter of an asterisk, basically.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like everything with an asterisk is currently being updated, and then it's like an archived or shelved project or whatever. Like you're not continuing to develop on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And the main idea is that, like, you can imagine if you're a new marketplace and you want to make a marketplace for Algorand and you're not sure which ARCs to implement first, or if you're creating a new wallet and you don't know what to prioritize. The idea is by having, like you said, having this asterisk, nests to ARC69 to make it clear that, this is no longer the recommended, but it should still be supported eventually. Also helps developers kind of know what they should focus on and, how they can best support the user base. Because at the end of the day, this is all like someone can make an ARC and it not get, approved by the community, but they still choose to use it themselves. Like ARCs are not a hard set rule that are, based on the protocol or anything. This is just about coming to a consensus about what we should all be using. And like you said, when ARC69 came out, it was the best option. But like how a lot of things in technology goes, we innovated. In particular, ARC19 was Patrick from NF Domains. And we now have a better option. So we want to.
I love it when nerds out nerd one another. It's like the best thing ever. And so Perdoodles asked, how do they assign a number to the ARC? Is it not in numerical order? Well, of course it's not, because it's permissionless, right? To like submit an ARC, but I think it drives Stefan crazy.
Yeah. So historically it hasn't been, there really wasn't a rhyme or reason, which is why like we went from like ARC, whatever to ARC69, then back down. Going forward, we're trying to make it a little bit more ordered, just so it's a little bit easier. It's a little bit more sustainable as you like scale, rather than everyone coming up with their own numbers and being confusing to talk about.
Everyone pick a number. So that is changing then. That is a thing now. There is some rhyme or reason to how they get their numbers, even though traditionally there was not. For a while, everybody just went right along counting, like this is the next one.
Yes.
Well, the last one submitted was 5. Now this one is 6. And then Kraken came along and was like, I don't know. So
which ARCs are for the vaults? Which ARCs allow the NFTs to operate as vaults?
So that's the vault functionality. So there's kind of two things with vaults. There's the NF domain vaults, which is attached to just like the NF domains, like domain name, and that's not an ARC, at least not yet. But we also have ARC 50. Yes, ARC 59. Yes, and that is basically going to allow people to essentially enables vaults at the protocol level. So instead of having to have an NF domain for people to send you an asset, they can just send an asset to anyone without them having to opt in. And so that's being implemented by like the wallets. And if dApps support that, then you're going to essentially have a vault for all your assets without having to do anything. So it'll make like onboarding zero algo accounts, for example, a lot easier.
I need that onboarding.
Null says, shut out. I think he means shout out though. Null's a nice guy. I don't think he'd be like, shut this person out. But shout out to Algo Kittens for ARC 69. Okay. I didn't know that was Algo Kittens. I associated that heavily with Kraken for some reason, but I am useless in an ARC discussion. Like what ARC is that? That's funny. I have no idea, but there is a really great page. It's arc.algorand.foundation. If anybody watching is curious and wants to know all about the different ARCs, it is a pretty nice layout. You can click on it and I'll tell you what it does. And yes, he's confirming shout out, not shut out. So very cool. All right. So my other quick question for Joe, and I'm sorry we're running around with running away with the nerd talk, but I found this and I thought it was good. The foundation has an Algorand technical council called the ATC. It sounds very like official government agency here. The ATC is a group of tech experts who work on the Algorand network. They met last week to discuss the progress of a consensus initiatives, and it has agreed to rules of engagement and will soon open. Do you know anything more about that? I saw that tweet from the foundation.
Yeah. So basically, the whole goal
or
of
is
ATC,
that basically FNet? Is that like what you're doing? You just didn't call it that.
No. So the ATC is something different.
Okay.
And basically, the goal of the ATC is to have to basically have a group of people in the Algorand ecosystem help dictate the direction. So for conversations like, should we deprecate ARC69, for example, there's kind of a group of people that are known like builders in the community that can represent the community well. I kind of have these like lower noise discussions, right? Obviously, still going to Twitter and getting everyone's opinion is very valuable.
But technical discussion,
exactly.
not deprecated, is an emotionally charged word.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, exactly. And so how it will basically work is, I don't know the exact rules because I'm not personally involved in it, but basically the idea is that like entities within the Algorand ecosystem, right? So whether this is like, NF domains or like a folks finance or the Algorand Foundation, each entity can have, I think, either one or two representatives at the ATAC and kind of speak on behalf of their project and the users. And I think what that tweet is referring to is the fact that there's going to be a formal process in order to add people to it. So this is not something where it's like in the past where we've had like the NFT council or the DeFi council, where it's something that's kind of like foundation led. This is going to be almost kind of like a DAO, where it's supposed to be representative of the community and kind of self-sustaining in the sense that the Algorand Foundation has no more or less power than anyone else in the ATC, and everyone's just trying to come together and make these technical decisions, and in particular make decisions where it's really technical and it's not super obvious to the end user about like how it would affect them. So things like how we handle mnemonics and like the cryptography behind the private keys and all this sort of stuff, where it's hard to get community input because not a lot of people,
just such a high level.
Yeah, myself included, like aren't super well educated on all this stuff. So the goal is to have like a rounded out group of individuals that represent different pockets of the ecosystem, but able to contribute to these technical discussions.
Okay. Well, I saw it and bookmarked it to ask you about because it sounded technical, and anything that kind of even sounds technical, I'm like, that's a joke question. But I think it's about time that we play a game with Wall. So I don't know if we should let him pick his poison. We've got 2 games for you today. The first one is an old favorite called the Algorand Ecosystem Challenge. We put 30 seconds on the clock and we let you name as many things as you can that are on the AVM. So, I mean, I know you're a fan of folks. That's a good example, but we're pretty lenient in the judging. Ted counts right some of the time. It's a lot of fun.
I've got a pen today.
We've also got limericks. We'll do limericks after sports, and we'll put you on the hot seat now for our first game, if that sounds good to you.
Yeah, that's easy. We can do that. That's easy.
I think it's fun. I think I got 12, which I did it very early on before people figured out,
there's strategies to it.
Jaws crushed it. It was amazing. Fisherman held the record for a while. I think Taco
the most
has it. I think
Yomo did really well.
Yomo did good. Yep. So it's just a fun way to shout out projects that you know
Wait,
and like love. Yeah.
Don't matter if they're old or new.
No,
or if they're gone.
Well, we will be your panel of judges. So if you, say
you might get booed if you say yieldly too loudly, but
yeah, or if you say Frida, like, I don't know.
Let's quick check in with the chat before we put you on the hot seat. Are you ready?
Let's go.
All right. On your mark, get set, go.
Now we got Block Cycle. We have Folks, Tiny Man, CompX, XUSD because they merged. We got Humble, Pack 5. What else? Dang, now I'm freezing up. NFD. What's the call? It's gone. The Guild one. Algo 5, Yieldly.
Algo 5. Oh, time's up. Good job. That was a valiant effort. I think we all know your heart lies in DeFi. That gave it up a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, Walt knows money.
Hmm.
I mean, it's clearly he's going to go for the
Right.
money.
All the money things.
No money in JPEGs. I don't know if you learned that yet.
NFTs. I supposed to say the algo gems and Rand and all of those.
You were
I
close.
haven't been focusing on
I
my
loved it.
NFTs though. Actually,
You burned through some of those ones that I know are your favorites. I dig it, and it's fun, and it helps bring awareness to things that might not be on everyone's radar. My top 10 that I can rattle off might be different than yours, which will be different than someone else's. So it's a fun game. We haven't played it in a while, and I'm so glad that you were here to do it with us. Ted, are you ready to sports us?
Yeah, I can make it happen.
Okay. Maybe. We'll see.
It's been
Okay.
sporting us since the
Oh.
beginning.
I'm going to try.
Oh my God, I caught that ball. Oh my gosh, thanks, Luca, for tossing that right before the transition. Welcome to the sports stuff section, brought to you by yours truly. We've got a very fun, interesting week of football behind us. We had what some may consider a referee interference in the Kansas City Chiefs Cincinnati Bengals game, where the defending two-time champions Kansas City Chiefs managed to squeeze out a 26-25 win over Cincinnati. Despite 2 interceptions from Patrick Mahomes, the Chiefs held on thanks to a 51-yard kick from Harrison Butker in the final moments. Really interesting shout out to the Chiefs for trusting Butker from that far away. Once they got to that point in the field, they kind of just gave up instead of trying to risk for any sort of turnover, which was interesting. Joe Burrow and the Bengals just aren't doing well. They never really do to start the year. That's interesting how that always is the case. We have the Arizona Cardinals dominating the Rams 41-10 with Kyler Murray throwing one of his best games of his entire career, his entire lives. No less help with Marvin Harrison Jr., who was really incredible that game as well. And he had 50 rushing yards on the ground to combine with a perfect passer rating. I thought that was awesome. You had the New Orleans Saints upsetting the Dallas Cowboys with just an absolute offensive powerhouse, 91 points in their first 2 games, with Alvin Kamara having a 4-touchdown day and Derek Carr looking sharp as ever. You had guys like Rashid Shaheed. I think he got a 70-yard touchdown pass or reception, I should say. It was really incredible. We had the Steelers shutting down the Broncos in a gritty 13-6 win. Bo Nix has continued to struggle as a rookie quarterback with his 4th interception of the season, and the Pittsburgh defense has been dominant. Despite only scoring 1 touchdown in their last 2 games, they have been able to beat 2-0, which I think is interesting. Injury-wise, here's kind of your fantasy update. You had elite receivers like Cooper Kupp being put on the IR, Justin Jefferson and Amon-Ra St. Brown having scary injuries, but it looks like their health is going to be questionable to probable, which will be good good for their health. You had A.J. Brown is going to be out for a couple weeks, and running backs Christian McCaffrey and Isaiah Pacheco have been put on the IR, which is notable because Christian McCaffrey was the consensus #1 fantasy football pick. So that's bad if you had the first overall, and you're kind of struggling if you took A.J. Brown on that turn. So we'll see. If you're looking for someone to pick up, I think you've got to get a little bit creative. There's a lot of running backs that you can still get on the waiver wire, as well as if you haven't picked up Jordan Mason yet, then I don't know what to tell you. In the meantime, shifting over to the other side of the pond, we have the Premier League, which is in, I believe, not sure what exact week it is because they stopped for international break because of other leagues. It's all kind of confusing for my American brain. But in the North London Derby, we had Arsenal beating Tottenham 1-0. Gabriel's header from a corner was the only goal. We saw the Spurs dominate possession, but they kind of just fell short. You had Manchester City 3-0ing Southampton with a very convincing win. And we had Liverpool getting shocked at Anfield. It was their first loss under their new manager, but they got shocked by Nottingham Forest in a 1-0 loss. So I thought that was fascinating. This defeat raises questions about Liverpool's consistency. But like I said before, it's hard when they have to juggle all these different competitions. You had Newcastle staying unbeaten, and you had Chelsea having a tight win over Bournemouth. We have, as Perdoodles is mentioning in the chat, Champions League kicking off this week. Liverpool versus AC Milan is in fact tonight, and I think that's going to be a fun one to watch. It's interesting as we have less football during the week, and as baseball is still kind of not quite at its playoff push, it's almost there. That like Tuesday and Wednesday spot is just always a little bit dry. No hate to the MLB, but it is what it is. Ira, if you want to bring me back to you, I think that's kind of all I've got from a formal sports stuff section. But if you have any other
Divine
questions,
Ascension said BCL, and I didn't know if that was a programmer thing or a sports team. So I don't think it's a coding language. I think it's a sports team. But it could have been in response to either of those two conversations.
Is it Barcelona?
oh yeah, I would assume that's a Barcelona.
Sports team. Okay.
Yo, who knows
Okay.
sports? Put me on the show
Michael
today.
Norris was sad about their AJ Brown, but thank goodness they got DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, it's a tough fantasy go around this year. The quarterbacks haven't really been quarterbacking. If you've looked at historical trends, there are less passing TDs this year than there have in the last like 10. And that's interesting despite the fact that you have referees calling a lot more tightly on defenses. There's a lot of defensive pass interference, which probably contributes to some of the passing yards, where I think you're seeing defensive backs having to either go all or nothing with their coverages, where if they know they're going to get beat and potentially taken to the house, they're better off committing pass interference and taking that 20 to 30 yard loss versus a 50 to 60 to 70 yard one. And yeah,
What
I
does
don't know.
it cost to go to a game?
It depends. If you are in Carolina, for instance, where the Carolina Panthers are 0-2 and have just recently benched Bryce Young, you can get in for $1. And it's
$1, Bob?
let me
$1,
double-check that.
Bob. While
But-
you're checking that, I did get tickets to go to a football game. It's college football, but it's a big game locally, U of M MSU in October. It's a big, university versus state kind of thing. So I'm excited about that. The tickets were outrageous, but I had a cousin who really wanted to go and will be visiting during that time. So you can say, I was like, heck yes, I'll go and deal with Ann Arbor traffic on game day. Let's go.
So you can get in the door on December 22nd in Charlotte for $22 a ticket.
Wow.
So being an
like
NFL
no
fan
rules,
is not cost prohibitive.
And you can get in the lower bowl and probably talk trash to the Panthers bench for $200 a ticket.
Wow.
Wow, that is a steal. And then people here, they tailgate. Sometimes they don't even go to the game. They watch the game on a big screen in the parking lot.
No
I don't know
way.
if people do that with British football or not, or European football or not.
They have a way better pub culture, so there's less need to tailgate. And for another, there aren't huge parking lots around their stadium like we have in the States. They rely on things like public transportation. So there isn't really a venue to actually drink at the stadium outside the stadium, but their pub culture is so awesome. So you're better off going down to your local pub and just having a beer and doing it that way. But us in America, we have it down to a science when it has to be a whole production. I'm talking about a slow cooker in the parking lot.
And like you pay to park. So it's not like you go to the game tailgate and it's free. You still pay to park your car.
And it depends on the stadium. Most stadiums in larger cities do, but it's significantly cheaper. And like, again, like you can pay $20 to park and hold a party of 20 people where everyone else figures out a way to get in there, but if you have your giant truck
I know
or
that
RV
people
or
in
whatever,
Ann Arbor like make their house payments with charging rent for their parking in their lawn.
That's a huge deal in Green Bay, next to Lambeau Field, where Lambeau Field is literally in a suburb. So like you're driving up to the field, and on either side of you, it's like these like single family homes that you would see like anywhere.
Yep. And then there's just some dad standing there. Sometimes he's got like a Home Depot apron on or something. And yeah, some of them are reservation only. You have to reserve that parking spot on that person's lawn.
What?
Yes, they are real serious about their I'm getting a little nervous now about going to the game because I remember how crazy that was.
Take an X.
Yeah, right. Something. So Luga, you are gonna inspire us all to get more active, but I think
golly. Okay.
oh golly, gee willikers.
Golly.
But you wrote some limericks for us, and I want to hear all about what's going on with Black Cycles. But as per usual, we gotta play our other game first. So if you are ready, we will do our limericks.
I think I'm ready. Are you ready, Walt? These are going to be rough. This is going to be a little bit of a how well do you know crypto Twitter?
I gotta say, don't feel bad if you don't know them.
I almost know.
I won't.
I didn't know them. And that first one, I was like, oh, Luga's getting like a little aggressive. I don't know. I didn't know what to say about that. So yeah, here's the number one, right? Your first limerick for today.
Okay, we're going Gabriel Haynes for it, so be ready. I bet he feels like wearing a skirt. He opened his mouth and Josh put him in the dirt. He's a balloon with eyes and a buffoon in disguise. The worst takes on CT.
I know this, but I don't follow them. I think I do.
So
do you
I got
have
a
any
name.
idea,
I got a name. What? What do I have to name?
You got to name who has the worst takes on CT, and it's going to rhyme with skirt and dirt.
Oh my god!
And
Jaws
just like, every couple days there's fire from Jaws.
About this person a lot, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the chat has got it for you.
Chat does have it. I see it. Okay, I was right.
All right. I give on that one. I don't know.
It was Mert.
Mert.
I bet he feels like wearing a skirt. He opened his mouth. Jaws put him in the dirt. He's a balloon with eyes, a buffoon in disguise. The worst takes on crypto Twitter. Mert. Well done, Luga. That was far more aggressive than your average limerick. Don't know where that came from, but as usual.
If Jaws can take a bite, then I'll bite with Jaws,
There you go. Let me find your second one here. There's a lot of windows and such happening here.
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on.
Okay. You can ask a question on Quora or go on a quest with Dora. If a dev on Algo, this is something you should know. An excellent tool is...
Wait, ask a question on
Quora.
Wait, what did you say it was? I missed the answer.
That's what I
say it again.
That's what it ran.
I think Joe.
Oh.
Oh no. Oh, well, that's got to be it. Okay.
Oh, did I get it wrong?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Chat's got you.
Oh, No's got it. You mean Laura?
We'll see if I'm right. You might have made it up.
Right?
You might have said something wrong.
You mean Laura, not Gora?
Goracle turned into Gora.
Oh, it would have worked with Gora? Okay, I'll accept Gora as an answer.
What was your
Gora was not the goal. The goal was Laura the Explorer.
Yeah. There is that new Explorer.
Oh wait, no.
For like Algo devs? Did I get that wrong?
Yeah, so Laura is our new Explorer, and it hasn't been super popular in the community yet because DAppFlow still has a lot of features that we don't have yet. So, but we are working on things like an Asset Studio and App Studio and all the cool features that DAppFlow has as well. Shout out to Shiva.
So do I get credit for DAppFlow?
Yeah,
yeah.
I would say that's like half credit. Yeah.
All right,
I
I'll
give
take
you
that.
all the credit.
55.
I dig it. Nobody really knows what the definitive rate. I mean, Luke knows what it was supposed to be.
Laura was the
but
goal, but I mean, Gora, yeah. You
Laura is the new tool. Yep. All right. That's new to me. Bloody Nora. Laura has the sweetest ways to visualize group transactions. No, I disagree because our background, which you can't see right now because there's so much stuff going on the screen, but the visualization that Eartho did is very cool as well. So I don't know if Laura has the same thing or not, but I like that visualization of group transactions on the blockchain as well. Oh my gosh, I sounded real legit nerdy. That was passable dev talk there. All right, we got number 3.
All right, this one's a little tougher. But you can take a sip from your cup or get motivation from a pup. It's worth your body and mind. Win some cash while you grind. Don't go down, just.
Oh wait, I know this one. I know this.
Yeah?
One. This is what I've been working on this at the gym.
Oh, Ted's been working on it? Okay.
I've been thinking about working on it.
Okay. You know, the first step is thinking about the step.
No.
I'm stumped. Does the chat know?
I got it. Do you want me to? I'm gonna put it in the chat in 3 seconds.
I think Luca makes it harder the way he tells it. He ramps up the pressure. Take a sip from your cup. Get motivation from a pup. It's worth your body and mind. Win some cash while you grind. Don't go down. Just go up.
Is it a muscle up?
Yeah, muscle up.
Muscle up. Okay.
From the algo. You're welcome, everyone.
Ted's like, this is why I'm here, people.
I've come in clutch, which is like my trivia. Whenever I do that, I always come in clutch. I'm never
This
wrong.
is the first algo active Ted's gonna do, right?
I'll send it to you privately, I think. But I was trying really hard.
That. Don't open the private pictures from Ted.
I mean, what's the worst?
And it's the up. It's like
so hard.
It's like that part. Like I can do if I start already up there, I can do that really easy. But it's so hard. Yeah, I feel like I'm doing my motorcycle impression.
Yeah.
Wouldn't a good modifier be to start from the up position and then
just do a negative?
Slow climb down? Yeah.
Yeah, negatives were almost equally hard.
But that way you're already there. You know what I mean? You can go up from there and then slow it down.
But a lot of times more than your muscles, it just turns into jerking your joints. Because you're probably not, if you can't do it up, going down.
You probably can't do it down.
Yeah, gravity is your enemy. Okay. Whereas you're kind of exploding through gravity to go up. The best modifier is the lat pull down machine that you can adjust the weight on, and then just go down and then push all the way through.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have a gym. But I will figure it out. I didn't think it's that hard to do a pull up in reverse. For the record, I'm really good at pull downs.
I mean, yeah. You do a couple reverse pull ups and you're there.
Reverse pull ups. I like that. No, I thought the answer to that last one was pump it up, and I was very confused.
Oh, I mean, okay, close. You don't win cash by pumping it up, or do you?
Well, just remind us real quick before we let Walt tell us all about Block Psycho. Let me just put you in your scene because I made the intro and I really like it.
It's a great intro.
And you can tell us all about what's going on. Maybe tell us we'll have a little bit more time for September. I got to build the gym to do the thing.
You want more time?
I'm not saying that. I also beg people to do shuffles, not in Discord, but
September 4th.
So.
Everyone cater that. Welcome to Who is Active Right Now with me, Lord Beluga. Beluga knows activity. And we were talking about the muscle up, which technically nobody has done yet. So we have 1 billion jaws up for grabs. You don't even have to succeed. fall off a bar, no biggie. Don't hurt yourself. But like, a lot of jaws on the line. It's pretty fair. You're gonna win if you post at this point. I don't know if N-rolls was actually going for a muscle up, but it is pull-ups, which is half the process. So we might just give him credit. But it's all about go for it. It is participation trophy award time. So participate. You're getting in. I'm giving you something. I have failed them for a week and a half now. So like even when you get it, you sometimes lose it. I somehow pulled off one yesterday and then tweaked something in my shoulder at the same time. So I'm fine now. I'll bounce back quick. I'm indestructible. But it's a hard movement. Do not feel bad about failing. I fail all the time. I'll post a fail video later today where I just they're hard to do. So this is your modified version, which IRL is showing. You just get a nice lap machine. Adjust the weight however you want. You're just going to pull down and push all the way through. That rotation is honestly the hardest part for pretty much everybody. And so adjust your weight and make it happen. Free jaws.
All right. I dig that. There's jaws on the line. Walt, do you get active? Do you do walks or push-ups or yoga? Are you a Pilates guy?
I'd walk.
Okay.
I just did I did a full body workout last week, actually.
All
I
right,
did some, I
look
don't
at
know what, I
you.
had dumbbells and did jumping jacks with dumbbells.
Oh,
Cool.
Oh, dang.
Get right up in there.
Look at you. That's awesome. Well, I encourage you. Getting algo active is always fun, even when it's not great, like most of my attempts. There's always people there to tell you good job and like way to go. I love seeing N-rolls' posts, and I love seeing Luga both succeed and fail because he makes things look a little too easy sometimes. So I'm not rooting for those failed attempts, but it makes me like feel a little bit better when he's like, "Hey y'all, I'm human too, just so you know."
I'll drop you all the fails. There's a lot.
How did your competition go? It looked good.
It went good, but I talked to a lot of people, and apparently it was like way harder than it should have been. So like the category I was in was pretty much set like one category more difficult than it should have been. So it was really hard. I should have gotten like 8 out of my 10 problems. I only got 5. But
I thought 5 was good, but I don't.
5 was okay. I probably finished about middle of the pack for my category, but
I think a lot of it is just getting you to compete like on a regular basis. Like I feel like when you're at home with the kids, you like do a pull up with your left hand on your pinky, and then you're like, oh, I had a competition and I couldn't get up this one spot, and it, like I feel like it's just a lot of experience when it comes to the comp part.
For sure.
So,
a lot of this year was just prepping for next year. I'm going to do like a whole circuit in Cincinnati. It's like 4 competitions, and if you do well in those 4, you make finals. So I'm going to try and make finals
next year. I will also try to get you to try out for American Ninja Warrior again. I checked, we missed the deadline for this year, but I really think that could be big for the chain, right? Our blockchain ninja.
I think I'd be so bad.
Well, I don't think do you know that show, American Ninja Warrior? Have you seen it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Where they run up that tall wall.
Yeah, Luga does all that sorts of climbing stuff and could do the weird loops that they climb. And you seem like a salmon ladder kind of guy.
The ones when they jump like this.
I could probably say.
I just think you should do that. Yeah, I think it'd be cool to root somebody on that we know.
Oh my god! I pulled up American Ninja Warrior and I was looking. I was like, oh, that's weird. All the other winners have like normal photos except for this season 11 guy. And I clicked in and he just got sentenced to 10 years.
Yeah, no.
Oh no!
The best guy. Which it's been going on for like 20 years in the States. They've only found one weird guy. I mean, that's pretty good statistically speaking, I think. But still
to be 2 weird guys. Wait. Oh.
Well, no, you're the nice kind of weird that doesn't deserve to be arrested. You deserve to be told how special you are, Luga. Not get put in handcuffs. So. Yeah. Well, we've got some NFT flex time. There was a couple flexes that came through. But before we get to the fancy JPEGs, Well, you founded Black Cycle Labs, right? Or just Black Cycle? Does it have labs at the end?
Yeah, I'm still working on what's definitive or not.
You're
It's a
tinkering.
project.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell us all about it. Give us
I'm using everything I've learned to put this together.
Ooh.
And what is this? Tell me, like, if you had to. We used to put you. We used to lock you in an elevator and give you exactly a minute, and it seemed too high pressure. So this is the more informal pitch.
That's simple. I teach Web3, DeFi, and blockchain to beginners, just to keep it simple. If you're someone that's more advanced, then of course I got some strategies and more stuff up my sleeve, but I just want to help with the onboarding. I want to help people get more exposure to blockchain, Web3, and DeFi, since they may seem synonymous, but they're different pockets, like you said earlier. So introducing people to the different pockets of what blockchain has to offer. That's the overall view of what Block Cycle is. And then I just decided to build a token to, power that. And then we built a staking platform to support that. So now people can learn staking initially. We have a school built finally. So now we have people that pay a monthly tuition. That helps to pump up the token. Token gives the rewards. We also have NFTs, which is why I asked about the Vault NFTs, because how can we spice up onboarding NFTs? So I'm looking into that next. That's the gist of it, and I've actually made my bones using folks finance and private banking, teaching people how to make $100 a day off of hedging their loans.
Okay.
So that's what I personally make a living. I make a living doing this. I have a lot of free time. So I build Block Cycle in my free time, basically.
Okay, I can get behind that. Kind of being your own banker. I will say, when you talk loans and leveraging, I am a total chicken on the poker table. I'm a total chicken when it comes to loans. Like, it took me way longer to do school because I opted out of student loans. Like, I'm a very antsy person.
Yes.
All in. I dig it.
Yeah.
But you walk people through it and you explain it to them.
Say it again.
I was just going to ask, like, you take these people who don't know a lot about it and you explain the difference between staking and farming and leveraging. You like break down those pieces.
The process has changed since I started doing this, because originally I was using a Google Classroom. Now I have a school community and things are more automated and organized. I wasn't charging a monthly fee because this is for my time that I still give up. I was just charging a one-time fee and giving them the information and having them do it themselves, but people aren't as engaged. So to create more engagement, I just started giving them things to do, which is similar to the Quest now. I have them get segments, like we're top 3 on NF domain segments still.
Ooh.
So
nice.
I plan to become number 1 because the orange segments aren't really moving or doing anything. And then I'm pretty sure Barb's cooking something up, but they've stopped selling their segments. And then we're number 3. Our segments also come with, you register our segments on Block Cycle platform, then you get a free NFT created by Dale Forward. So the only way to get access to that is by holding this segment. We also have a final airdrop coming for segment holders. And what else? Oh, we're going to be launching a DAO too. So I haven't jumped off into that end of the lake yet, but we're going to be launching a DAO so that I can be in a position to fall back and not have so much pressure on me to maintain this, what I've got started,
I dig it. So if people want to know more about you, I know you're on Twitter at waltknowsmoney. Does Black Cycles have a Discord, or is it all on its own freestanding platform?
So you can go to blockcycle.org just to check out the information. We're still working on the website. And if anybody knows anyone that's interested in whipping up a website, let me know, because we're working on that.
You tell me and you send them my way, because it's been the bane of my existence for a minute here for us. So you let me know when you find someone that can do it. That's cool, though.
I actually want to go to Baker Studio, the ones that made Tiny Man that did the UI for Tiny Man.
Okay.
I want to get them to do ours.
Okay.
So I'm working on that.
It'll be smooth,
Working on
I bet.
characters for Realms too. So we're gonna have students inside of Realms coming soon.
Okay.
I like that
Provide.
collaboration.
I just want to teach people this though. That's the main thing. Like I get into little spats with people about this. Like I just want to teach people how this works, and then they can find their own way because everybody may like something different. But I just want to be that
Right.
introductory companion for people as they learn about blockchain.
Well, and
And then they can.
a lot of that stuff can be a little sketchy. I mean, we're talking about blockchain and crypto in general, which is already a very high risk thing. But I feel like things are most dangerous when you don't learn about them, or people don't want to take the time to explain the basics of what it is and how it works. So I think things going back to the early days, like things like that can show what something looks like staking or farming, or even playing around with leveraging and what that looks like. You got to have somebody explain to you how it works and what it is and why it works. And so for you to just even offer that to people, I think is pretty cool. And I think it's cool that you're making content. You're a human that's interested in blockchain. You obviously want to feed yourself and keep that nice roof over your head. But you're not trying to take as much as I find a lot of people in Algorithm are in a similar place though, right? It's like, I just want to move it forward. I want to be me, but I want to move the tech and the people forward. So I don't know. I dig it. You got to have adoption so that being bankless is an option, right? We need that adoption. So I think it's cool that you're bringing new people into the fold.
Yeah, I'm happy that Coinbase did the quest with the platforms, because that's essentially what I'm already doing.
Right.
But they're able to, market it to a bigger audience and more people. But that's exactly what I've been doing for the last couple of years. Having people learn how to do folks finance, get a segment from NFD, buy an NFT, and stake it.
I dig
I'm-
it.
that
Well, you
gets-
got some fans. Go ahead, Teddy.
Gets you the knowledge to participate not just within your ecosystem that you've created, but also the wider ecosystem. And I think how you're setting this up so that you kind of end up naturally going through this progression that a lot of us went through, albeit just in a more either windy or kind of unique, different way. And I think you having a standard education for it, for one, is really efficient in terms of getting people to, point to different resources, right? Not everyone likes to be onboarded the same way or has the technical capacity to be onboarded a certain way. For some people, just the whole concept of downloading an app in the first place on your phone can be a challenge. So I think
that's
it's
the
really
biggest
awesome.
challenge.
Yeah, I think that it's really awesome that you have such a proficient curriculum. So that's my 2 cents on it. But yeah, I don't know. That's what we need.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
We're stoked you came on
So
the
here's
show.
this is what I want to ask you guys.
Okay.
So we've been dealing with a, let's just say, bad actor, right? But I can't control any buys or sales. But I've identified someone that's been intentionally pumping the volume, pumping the price, pumping the TVL, and then the next day or 2 days later, they're cashing out on my people. So it's frustrating for me when I actually have students who are learning how this works. I'm teaching them how to trade, how to buy, how to hold, how to sell manually, though. So they're in no rush to do it for profit. And then we have people that know how these things work, and they're being predatory. So I'm actually just trying to figure out how to protect them, because if the wrong people get in and get more control, because I've taken the freeze and the clawback off because, I felt more comfortable after the launch thing, and now it's a free-for-all. And the only thing that's going to save the people that I have following me is that they are learning how to see these things, how to look at Allo, how to watch Vestige, how to check the transaction, what account's doing what. That's something that I really like to point out to people, because it'll lead you to everything else. Knowing the accounts and the assets, those timestamps do wonders for a lot of people too. So
I think the biggest
that's what
thing
I'm dealing with right now.
is kind of what Polly briefly mentioned, is that it's part of the whole gig. And I think finding ways to shape your curriculum around that, I think is helpful. But I understand your frustration where it's like you try and tell someone that this is a long-term, reliable, safe asset to hold, but seeing price fluctuations at the scale that you're seeing it is concerning. But at the same time, I think that's where you have to go and it's about not just finding your audience, but establishing what the actual risk is for this. And when you have that kind of risk, something that's relatively reliable within the crypto community and ecosystem and everything else, at the TVL that you're at, can only be controlled so much by you. And at the same time, that's the blessing and the curse of decentralization. You can put
Right.
yourself in a position where you control everything, but then the second things go south, everyone's pointing their fingers at you and saying, well, how could you let this happen? And I think that is, with decentralization, like, you have the risk of someone else doing that and being the bad actor, but that's where it's like it's just part of the whole game. So I've never been one to really use any sort of sophisticated high frequency trading programs or bots or anything like that, just because to me, it never really interests me. But I'm sure there is profitability to have it. I think it comes down to, again, like, how can you structure your token in a way that rewards people for holding, and setting up staking in such a way that prevents people from just wanting to go pump TVL, pump price, dump price, dump TVL. So
Yeah, it definitely is
I'm
a
working on it.
nature of being decentralized and permissionless, right? Like, anybody can buy the token, right? But it's also a good lesson on supply and demand, because with blockchain, especially the way Algorand is set up right now, you can see who the majority token holders are. You can watch for, and I'm thinking of the Coop token as an example. Recently, where everybody knew this Marine guy had a ton of tokens. Everybody knew it. So nobody was that surprised when he pulled the, oh no, am I making you sad? I'm just saying nobody was that surprised, because if you teach them how to read the data, then, like, you can see, who's a big holder. You can kind of prep yourself, I guess, was my point. I don't know, though. I don't want to make you hold your face, though.
No. I was just thinking, like, that's part of what's got me to this point, is being a part of Coop, watching Coop, learning from Coop.
Yeah.
That's what made me get this far, to say, you know what? Let me create a token. And Block Cycle is actually my second token that I ever created. The first token was the Wealth Class token, and I only made 1 million of those, never got it verified, just did it to do it.
Yeah.
But I still used it to teach the class, so that still gave it real utility, which was the education. But this year I just said, you know what, let's brand it, label it, and I did Block Cycle. And I want to say this clear for everybody that's listening. For Algo Scout, because Algo Scout came and jumped on me in Telegram about what happened with Wealth Class token, and I had to keep informing them that we're no longer using the Wealth Class token as a priority, because now we have Block Cycle, and all they see is a token that's been disregarded and had the value stripped from it. And
That's
I'm
not
like,
that
and then
unusual.
I'm having this.
There's been like 6
People don't know
DGen
the
tokens,
stories,
right? Hasn't DGen, like, what do they call
there's
that when they
DGen
move?
2.
1.1, they migrate to a different
Migration.
token. Is that word?
That's
yes, they migrate. So you can tell them that you've migrated the utility for that token to Black. Yeah, just a thought.
Okay, I'll use that term if it comes up again.
I've seen it done several times in the space. I'm thinking mainly with DAOs, you see that quite a bit. So I'm not saying it's good or bad. And Algo Scout
that's the plan, to get everything in a DAO and then let the community actually have the say.
Yeah, well, I dig that. Well, I think we'll get to NFT flex time. We'll catch up on our flexes next week. I flexed a pretty awesome dork in honor of Boy, the first alternate AVM, I guess, out there, which is cool that it's just like growing. I'm very excited about the AVM being an actual thing now. So we will catch up on flexes next week, but definitely keep in touch, Walt. It was so good to have you on the show and meet you. Check out his
Thank you.
YouTube channel and him on Twitter. Give him a follow. And shout out to Minor, which is what I call Mike.
Minor.
MNOR on Twitter
Mike.
for hooking us up. He was a pivotal piece of getting in touch with me and getting Walt on the show. So thanks, Mike. We appreciate you. Oh, he changed his name. That's Michael
Mike, that's
Norris.
my ace right there.
Yeah. Okay. You tricked me with the full first and last Michael. But yes, I appreciate you reaching out. Things are a little crazy for all of us here on the show, but we appreciate you guys. We will see y'all next week. Teddy, you're going to be here, right?
I should be. I am getting into a little bit of a busy season-ish, but at the bare minimum, I will have content for you guys.
Okay.
Well, Algo which is that's not your handle on Twitter, and I'm failing to make the connection on the Twitter handle, but he's talking about Voltcoin. There's some other things that do that. Also Dragonfi comes to mind. I know that they're into teaching kind of like that, but I think it's always good to look and see what's happening. Ludo, thank you, Ludo. Sorry. Too many people have different screen names on Twitter than they do on. I'm guilty of it. I need to make my own YouTube because now it just says the platform whenever I'm watching anyone else's shows. But I appreciate you all. We'll be back next week. Check out Ludo knows a ton about the space. We had him on to demo something a while back, but I appreciate you all big time and have a good day.
All right.